Every single thing on that plate just went together. You wouldn't want to miss out on any of the pieces of what was there to put together in a bite. From the blog Random Sweets, I'm Stacy Mergenthal, and this is Funeral Potatoes and Wool Mittens, a show for people who embrace the warm and cozy spirit of everyday living in the northern Midwest. Welcome to part 2 of our Gulf of Mexico getaway. Today's show is all about the restaurants and delicious food we enjoyed while on vacation in Alabama's Gulf Shores area this past February. Hopefully you've already listened to episode 16 when we talk about the fun things to do while you're vacationing there. If you've been there, you've likely already eaten at many of these places, and if you're planning a trip to Gulf Shores, you may want to add some of these to your list. In this episode, my husband Jason and I share our top 5 meals and places to eat, like a smoked turkey sandwich, Delmonico steak, key lime pie, better than what I can make at home, eggs Benedict on top of a waffle, fried pickles and fried chicken, candied yams, Gulf grouper, fontina dip, and mac and cheese. Plus, we talk about the smoked tuna dip and a salad that we want to recreate at home. Although it was hard for us to rank our top 5 out of the more than 15 restaurants we dined at, our number ones ended up being the same, hands down, easy choice. A place that was such a memorable experience, we just knew we were in for something special from the time we called to make the reservation. And of course, we don't want to leave anyone out, so we include honorable mentions like the giant pepperoni pizza and the coffee shop that we happened to eat at after we had to turn around and go back to the condo to get Jason's swim trunks before we went to the airport. And stick around to the very end and we'll mention a few places we wanted to go to but we ran out of time. And there's something I want to point out before you listen that I almost cut out because it shows my lack of knowledge or ignorance of fine cooking and chef terms. There's a dish that I'm talking about from Jesse's restaurant that is schmaltz seared. Now, Jason asks me what that means, and I mentioned something along the lines of it being seared in beer. At which time I'm sure Executive Chef Larry Agnew would spit out his drink, roll his eyes, and howl with expletives. Now, you know I'm just a home cook and baker. So as I was fact-checking and editing, I learned that schmaltz is actually rendered animal fat like chicken or duck. So yes, much fancier than beer. So although it's a little embarrassing, I'm keeping it real. While you're listening, visit randomsweets.com for photos and links to everything that we're talking about, plus a few places we forgot to mention, and a few we mentioned in episode 16. So now, let's talk dining in the Gulf Shores, Alabama area.
We're on.
Woohoo. We're back.
Yeah.
We took a break, and now we're back to talk about the food at Gulf Shores. So
all the wonderful places that we went.
Mm-hmm.
And there were so many more that we didn't even get the chance to go to.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was going to list things, I would say okay, if I had to pick my top 5.
Okay, well, hold on a minute. For those of you who haven't already listened to episode 16 was part 1 of our trip to Gulf Shores, Alabama. Now this is episode 17, part 2 of our Gulf Shores, Alabama. We just didn't want it to be one big, long episode like when the neighbors used to make you watch slideshows from their vacation. So we split it into 2 so that you can listen to the 2 together or whatever. So now we can start.
Let's start.
Let's get going. So
because we had so much fun. There was so much to get in. One long episode would just be too much, yeah.
Right. So you suggested that we would rank our separately. So you do yours, I do mine, and rank our top 5 best meals or foods that we ate there. Mm-hmm. And that was really hard to do. I'm like, we're going to talk about some of the other places though, right? Like I can't just talk about 5 and be done.
Oh yeah. We'll give some honorable mentions, even to Subway.
Subway when we couldn't eat meat on, was that the Friday of Lent, first Friday of Lent? So
yeah.
Anyway. Okay, well, who wants to start with we'll start with 5 and work our way up.
Sounds good.
Do you want to go?
Okay, I'll go.
Okay, what's your number 5?
My number 5.
These are the top 5.
I think you'll be surprised with this one.
Okay. Don't say Subway.
No, but I think the fifth coolest place that I liked was Tacky Jack's.
Oh.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And we'd gone there for lunch, and the smoked tuna dip, that was really incredible. Mm-hmm. And it came with like some garlic crackers, and they did this, what did they call it? Old Bay seasoning or something like that on top of the smoked tuna.
Oh, yeah. So I don't necessarily know what was in the tuna dip, but it did get topped with some Old Bay seasoning.
Yeah. And so that, and then the garlic chips, crackers.
They were like little pieces of like a French baguette.
Okay, yeah. Like
cut and toasted a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Definitely something we could recreate at home with our smoker. And
my lunch was good too. I mean, it was just some batter fried fish and chips.
Yeah.
Basically.
But the place was really cool too, because it's called Tacky Jack's, and then they have, is it like Post-it notes?
Well, no.
Or not Post-it notes.
It's
tape.
actually like, it's duct tape. And all different colors of duct tape, and people sign their name, and they just tack it up somewhere. And the place is covered inside, outside, everywhere.
Multi-level building.
If you can reach it, or even if you can't, somebody will hoist you up somewhere so you can stick your name on some duct tape. You know, but it's all over, inside, outside.
And Tacky Jack's is not on the Gulf of Mexico, but it's on some water because you can take a boat or a jet ski up to it. What is it on? Some lagoon or some...
There's just some channel that comes in there, and yeah, you can just pull right up in your boat and walk inside. Mm-hmm. I don't think reservations are required, but they do have a hostess that seats you.
Yes, you're pointing that out because I took the wrong way, and I think there were other customers.
I did not. No, I was not pointing, but I forgot about that.
I know, because there were other customers coming out, and I was going up the wrong staircase, and they're like, it's over there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my number 5 is the Old River Grill, and that is part of Floribama. And I chose that as my number 5 because this was so hard. So much good food, but I chose it for the mac and cheese that I had. Mm-hmm. It was a baked mac and cheese. I'm trying to find here where I wrote down all the cheeses that were in there. It was an Alfredo sauce, and Parmesan, Monterey Jack, cheddar, and smoked Gouda was in that mac and cheese. Of course, I was eating that with an Island Girl cocktail, which I enjoyed a couple of those that night. I think there was rum and I don't remember what else was in there. Also, I chose the Old River Grill because the key lime pie was incredible. Yeah. One of the best key lime pies I've ever had. And I make a really good one at home that to me is the best, but that was maybe even better. And I shared it with you, and I regretted that. I'm like, why did I say that I was going to let him have some of this? But then I knew it's because, didn't you order chocolate cake to go? And I knew that you would share that with me later if I shared my key lime pie with you.
Did I?
Yes, you did. Of course you did.
Well, I thought you brought back a piece of cake too for the next day.
No, see, you're getting confused about Big Mike's, where we both took cake home or back to the condo, and then those were our cake by the ocean on our birthdays.
Okay.
Yeah. So my number 5 was the Old River Grill. I need to go back there because then I learned later about like the bushwhacker drink that's popular down there, and I think I need to go have some bushwhackers. So
right. I
sound like I've already had some to drink. Okay, so number 4.
They get tougher.
I know.
I'm going to go with the place that we ate breakfast at, the Sunliner Diner. And I had one of the most amazing breakfasts there. It was basically an eggs Benedict on top of a waffle. Mm-hmm. And
it wasn't an Eggo waffle.
No, it was a giant waffle, and had the bacon and the hollandaise sauce and 2 huge eggs that were more than soft boiled. So when you cut into them, all the yolk and stuff ran all over, which I like. I know you don't.
I don't like that, but that's okay.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And then it sopped everything up with the waffle and the maple syrup, and yeah, it was really good.
So we went there for the first time. That was the Sunliner Diner, and it was a block off of where the Mardi Gras parade was. Mm-hmm. And we had gone into Surf Style, which was right in front of where we were at the Mardi Gras parade. Did some shopping there, and then walked over to the Sunliner Diner for our breakfast for the day. Mm-hmm. And the place was hopping, and it's very, like, 50s.
Oh, yeah.
Would you say diner?
Yep, 50s.
With a car on the inside that has a booth in it, so you can actually sit in the car.
Yeah, they got a Ford Fairlane in there that's converted into a booth. So the doors open up and people just jump in and sit in.
On that table.
Yeah.
Or not on they don't sit on the table, but yeah. And so the wait staff and everything, they're wearing period appropriate, like, dresses and skirts and bow ties.
And saddle shoes and
yeah. So since you're talking about that, and that was really hard for me to not put it on my list. So it's not on my list, but they had amazing biscuits and gravy.
Okay.
And their waffles were fantastic.
Yep.
And they had peanut butter, so I could put peanut butter on it with my maple syrup, just like I love. So I'm glad that you put it on your list so that I could mention what I loved about it, because it was so good, and I was bummed I didn't get it on my list.
That we had to go back there twice.
We did.
Because, I mean, when I figured we had got to at least try all these places at least once. And they're, despite how long we were there, really, there's only 2 places we ate at twice. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, everything was a new experience.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so my number 4, I think I'm being swayed by the merch. Can you guess where my number 4 is?
Yeah.
Where?
It's your new favorite hat.
My new favorite hat. It's Moe's Barbecue. Moe's Original Barbecue.
Nice.
My mom's maiden name is Moe. And so it's kind of fun to see something that says Moe's. And I got a cap, a ball cap, whatever you call those.
Oh, yeah. I'm jealous because we should have bought 2.
Well, you bought it for yourself. And then I'm like, I love it so much. Can it be mine?
Yes. Because I also got a cool shirt there, too. It was like a Grateful Dead take on Moe's Barbecue. So
right. And then you ended up finding your favorite hat, which is the Alabama State flag. So now you already have a different hat.
Surf style.
Anyway, so I didn't pick that because of the hat, but I just said I'm being swayed by it, I think. Anyway, so Moe's Original Barbecue, I had a smoked turkey sandwich. Mm-hmm. And so they obviously had smoked turkey and then layered a whole bunch of it onto the sandwich. And I mean, the smoke just like permeated through the entire piece of meat. It wasn't just around the edges or anything like that. It was just a fantastic smoke flavor. And the sides and everything were good too. But my favorite about that place was the smoked turkey sandwich.
Nice.
Now, that was the first and only place that I finally ordered pimento cheese dip, which, if anybody remembers from, I think we talked about it on episode 13 when we did our Arizona trip, that you'd be searching for sweet potato pie and I'd be searching for pimento cheese dip. Now, we got it at Moe's Barbecue and I thought it was really good, but I do think that I would have, maybe wanted to order it at other places and see what other places were like. You were surprised it was not more
I thought it would have been like softer.
Softer.
Yeah, because when you tried to dip your chip in there, it'd break, and you really needed a knife or a spoon to like kind of carve it up and put it on your chip. Mm-hmm.
That was my number 4. Was Moe's Original.
Nice.
Moe's.
And I really liked it too. I think I had a smoked chicken.
You did. You had chicken. You had baked beans. And you had coleslaw. I had some mac and cheese that was really good, and the potato salad was really good. So
and the portions were big. I had this like huge chicken leg and thigh, and it was great.
Mm-hmm. And it's a really fun place. We ate inside, but in the last episode we talked about how it has a really cool outdoor area. Mm-hmm. Probably really fun when they have music on the stage and lots of barbecue. It smells good.
Very good.
All right, number 3, moving on.
Number 3. Oh, well. I really wasn't exactly sure how to rate this, but I mean, given the circumstances of the places that we went to, I had to put this at
Subway.
Number 3. No, they're just an honorable mention because when we got around to eating that night, it was pretty late, so Subway was like our only option.
Right, it was funny. Okay, so number 3.
Number 3, Paula Deen's.
Oh, yeah, Paula Deen's Family Kitchen at OWA.
Yep.
Foley, right?
The cool thing about their place is everything's served family style. Mm-hmm. And so you share all your side dishes, and it's Was it all you can eat on the main course too? Or was it all you can eat on the sides? I don't remember. But between all the side dishes we had, between the green beans, the candied sweet potatoes, and which you really weren't, excited about, but they were pretty good, weren't they?
Yes. And so I have probably all my life said, I don't like sweet potatoes. I don't like the candied sweet potatoes. You ordered them. I'm like, that's fine because I'm going to order, we had different, I think we could pick 4 side dishes.
Uh-huh.
And so it didn't matter if you had one that only you were going to eat. And you did convince me to have a bite, and they were really good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Do they all taste like that? Or is that like an exception?
I don't know. That was my first time ever having them.
But, are you serious? I thought you were like, oh,
no,
yeah, these are really good.
No.
Oh.
I know, people have made plenty of candied yams and different things like that. But, yeah, I think is because you're getting it from someone like Paula Dean's Kitchen.
Right.
You know it's going to taste phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't even remember what the other sides were. I think we had some corn in there, some creamed corn.
Oh, the creamed corn was fantastic. And you know what? I bought a cookbook there, and it's not one of the regular Paula Deen cookbooks that you just find at Barnes & Noble. It was more of this personalized type. I can't explain it. It's a paperback and very more family. And I'm pretty sure that there's a recipe in there for a creamed corn that sounded like it might be similar to what we had there, so I might be able to make it.
Okay.
Do you remember the biscuits? I
Yes.
loved them.
Yes.
They were like a cheddar biscuit, maybe a little buttery on top.
Oh, yeah, yep.
But the green beans are what I ordered twice. I ordered more green beans because there was just something about the green beans. They were really good.
Well, and the sides were so good. I don't even remember what the main course was.
I don't remember what you got, but I ordered, I think you had fried chicken, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Of course.
I had chicken and dumplings.
The best fried chicken ever.
Was it?
Well, that's what is the label. That's what it was called.
Oh, okay. How did it compare to Moe's?
It was better.
It was better than Moe's?
I think so, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yep.
Well, I ordered chicken and dumplings because I love like a thick sort of chicken pot pie filling or chicken noodle soup, and I like pasta and I like biscuits and whatever, but I've never wanted to eat dumplings because I feel like when I was growing up, we had dumplings and they were pasty and I don't know, but my recollection of dumplings isn't good. So I ordered them here and my recollection is correct. I really don't like dumplings very much. Because they weren't like chunks of biscuits, which is what I was sort of thinking maybe they're more like that. And it wasn't, and that's totally okay. I ate all of the other saucy stuff and all the chicken around it, and I just didn't prefer the dumplings, and that's fine. But everything there was really good.
Yeah.
That one didn't make my list. Again, it was hard to pick, but you also can get dessert. That's part of the meal. It's included, and you can get it to go.
Oh, yeah, that was the thing, is you couldn't take any of the main entrees or the sides to go.
Right, because they were unlimited. You could just sit and eat them, so they didn't let you, then take a whole bunch home.
Right.
But you could take your dessert home, though.
It was a lot of food, just bowls of everything we had, and we didn't, I don't think we had any extras or anything. We just picked.
It's unlimited.
Yeah.
And so you can sit, so you're thinking, oh, yeah, you're going to order all these bowls and keep ordering. Well, you don't, because you end up getting so much food at first. The green beans were the only thing that we ordered more of.
Right.
To have her bring some more. But butter cake. So gooey butter cake is something that's a big Southern thing, and I haven't had it before. I ordered, I think, the chocolate or the vanilla, and then because I couldn't decide between the two, the waitress actually gave me a slice of each to take with me. So I got to try the vanilla butter cake and chocolate butter cake. And they were really good. And I love chocolate, but I have to say the vanilla butter cake I preferred over the chocolate.
I got banana pudding.
Mm-hmm. How was it? Did you eat it in the middle of the night or something?
I just want to say that, it was okay. It was decent, but it wasn't as good as that food truck I had in Pensacola.
See?
Because that banana pudding was phenomenal. And, you go down south and they make banana pudding all the time. And I really like banana pudding. But when you have it and it's exceptional somewhere, it's like, oh, now I got to compare it to that.
Exactly. All right. So that was your number
3.
That was your number 3. Oh, so my number 3.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Tacky Jack's made my number 3.
All right.
Because that smoked tuna dip, I wanted to just sit there all day and eat bowls of it. It was fantastic.
Yep. I wish it had like a little bit of onion or maybe some celery in there just to give it a little crunch.
A little crunch. Well, when we make it at home, because this summer, when we get the smoker dug out of the huge piles of snow back there,
Yeah.
we will smoke tuna. We'll try to recreate it and add that in there.
A little crunch to it.
But that was so good. That made it number 3 on my list.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And it was such a cool place.
Yeah. And number 1 was easy, but number 2 was hard, because that's like the second best and it's hard. So what'd you pick for number 2?
Big Mike's Steakhouse.
Me too. Because our number 1s are the same. I know it.
I know they're going to be, yes. Big Mike's Steakhouse, it's like number 1 in the state of Alabama by the Cattlemen's Association for their steaks and burgers. And it's not, I don't want to say it's like a huge place, but it is packed. And their steaks are phenomenal. Their portions are very generous. I mean, the first time we went there, I was like waddling out.
Well, our eyes are bigger than our stomach. And so when you ordered your steak and then the baked potato that came with it, you also ordered a potato bake or something.
Yeah,
like a twice
baked potato casserole. Because it's like, I got to try that, because if we don't come back,
right,
I'm going to miss out on something.
Right.
And
that's really hard when we go to places like this to pick. Around here, you go out to eat at a restaurant, you pick something, you'll probably be back, you can try something new, but...
Well, between the steak, the potato, the huge salad, the steamed asparagus, and then their bread.
Oh my gosh.
Which we've only heard it described as like a Bavarian bread, but it's just like this soft, spongy...
It was a brown bread.
Brown bread, yeah. And then it came with a honey butter that you put on it, smother it. Yeah, I got to make that.
And so we need to make that bread at home.
Absolutely. I mean, we'll have it like every week.
So I don't eat steak much. I'm not against it. I love red meat, but I ordered a burger. I know it's weird, but you go to steakhouse, order a burger. That was really good. But what I kept saying the rest of the week was...
Wait, is Big Mike's your number 2?
Yeah, didn't I say that?
Yeah,
okay. Big Mike's is number 2, so I get to talk about mine now.
Okay.
They had the fried Wickles pickles.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and the Wickles pickles are a southern pickle, which I hadn't heard of. Looks like you can maybe buy some of the varieties of them in the jars up here, like at Walmart, Hy-Vee's maybe. But we ordered fried pickles at 3 different places, I think, when we were on vacation. And this was hands down the best. The fried Wickles.
They were the best.
Whatever dipping sauce that they had with it. And then the bread. But I think the rest of the week I was like, I just want to go back to Big Mike's for that salad. The salad was so good. All the lettuces and the bacon and then the toasted pecans.
Yeah, I've never had a salad with toasted pecans, but it's like, now it has to be a thing. You have to toast pecans before you put it on your salad.
And we've already done that at home since we've come back, because I always have pecans for baking, and so I toasted some. And
right.
I know people are like, duh, that's not like a new thing, but it's just something we'd never done or had.
Yeah. Well, I want toasted pecans to take with, so when we do go out to eat somewhere else, I can throw it on my salad.
Sort of like when I carry my own peanut butter to put on my waffle. We can talk about that in a minute. But okay, Big Mike's was also my second. And it was, like I said, the burger was fine and everything, but it was the fried Wickles pickles and that salad with the toasted pecans.
Yeah.
And the place is really rustic. You do have to wait a long time. Could be an hour, hour and a half.
Hour and a half, yeah.
So just be prepared. Know that going in, and it's worth the wait.
No reservations. It's just show up, get on the list.
Yep. And if all your party's not there when you're called, you don't get in. So just know it. Going in, have a crossword puzzle or something ready. Do your thing, because you're going to wait, and it's going to be worth it.
Make sure your phone's charged. But they do have an outdoor bar.
Oh, yeah.
And you can get drinks from the bar to sit outside and wait for your turn to eat.
Yep. And I think they allowed you to order some appetizers too, so you could have some appetizers and your drinks while you're waiting to be able to go in and get your table.
Yep.
Okay. And Big Mike's Steakhouse has
I think there
more
was
than
like
that.
maybe 4 or 5 locations across the entire state of Alabama.
Yeah. Okay. Did we do dessert there? Oh, see, yeah, we did do dessert, but we took it with us. So you were ordering cheesecake, and then they came back and were like, oh, we're out of that one. So we actually ended up both ordering cake. I had the caramel cream cake, and you ordered like Oreo or cookies and cream cake.
Oh, yeah.
We brought those back to the condo.
Yep.
Because that was Sunday night, and then Monday was my birthday.
Yay.
So that's the caramel cake I ate by the ocean.
Yep.
And then I'm pretty sure you saved your piece, and then Tuesday you ate your piece by the ocean for your birthday.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good. And thanks for our Lani Kai condo, because we had actual plates and forks, and we packed them up in our bag and brought them out to the Gulf of Mexico.
They had beach chairs there for us. And,
beach chairs, beach towels. And
there was even a beach wagon we didn't use, but we could have, to haul everything back and forth. But
I wanted to use the wagon, but you're like, no. And you just carried everything. So, yep. All right. So our number one top meal that we picked from our trip.
And I want to say just the number one place down there that we ate at, but any meal I've ever had, this place far exceeds everything.
And not just the meal, but the whole dining experience.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I don't want to say quaint. It was elegant.
The lights are turned down low. You're
but
in a
it
historic
wasn't like
building.
You didn't feel like you're amongst a bunch of snobs. But yet it definitely felt classy. I mean, I felt like I had to take my hat off.
You did have to, and you did.
Yeah. But some people were in jackets, like dinner jackets, and some people were just in shorts and flip-flops. Mm-hmm. And it didn't matter because the food was incredible. Mm-hmm. We started out with salads. Oh, by the name of the restaurant, it's called Jesse's in Magnolia Springs.
Oh. I guess that's a good thing. Well, maybe we mentioned it. I don't even remember. But Jesse's in Magnolia Springs.
Yep. And it definitely, you had to get reservations. And it was, even when we got there, it was still, we had to wait for our table to empty out because the place was pretty busy. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say it was a huge place, but it wasn't small. They might have had, 30, 40 tables in that place?
Oh, I bet there was more than that because we were sitting back in the old post office part, and then they had a whole nother section over there, and they had outdoor seating.
Mm-hmm. It couldn't have been
so
much more than 40.
You're right.
If anything. But.
So if you want to talk about the space for a minute, in the last episode, in episode 16, we talked about the town of Magnolia Springs. This is in that town where there's really not businesses or anything. It's really just a place where a lot of people live, and they're on the river. But they took the old historic general store building, and then next door to it connected the old historic post office building and created this one restaurant called Jesse's. And Jesse's is the name of a former employee who ran, or he didn't run or own, but he worked at that general store for I think 60 some years.
Right, until he retired.
When it was the store. And so they named it Jesse's.
Yep.
And
because he was probably like the guy who knew what was going on with everybody in town.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because that was the place where you'd go in and buy feed for your animals and, sugar and flour for your pantry. And the kids would come in there and buy their little one penny candies.
Their little lollipops or suckers. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the historic part of it is just so neat, too. And they worked really hard. Like, they even ask if this is your first time there. They want to know if it's your first time and make it a really great experience. They made sure, I heard the hostess, she was making sure that we had a really good table and a spot. We were right by the windows there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was dark out, but we were in the historic post office part. Do you remember what our waiter's name is? I really wanted to be able to say his name.
Marshall.
Marshall?
Yep. But it was like Marshall.
Marshall.
It is Marshall.
Okay. just a shout out to him. He was so genuine and a wonderful person.
Mm-hmm.
We visited with him toward the end when we were the only ones left over on that section.
Mm-hmm.
And so he really just kind of visited with us, and I appreciated that too. That's why I'm saying it was really an experience as well. Being in that space and then having somebody really explain things to us.
Well, yeah, and not only that, the menu and stuff, he had recommendations. I want to say it's kind of like wink, wink, but it's like, yeah, try this, like the dessert.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the menu because that's important to note. So when I had learned about this Jesse's from that cookbook that I had picked up, gave the story of it. We were sitting by the pool that day, the late afternoon. I called there because it said, highly recommended reservations. You may not be able to, you'll drive over there 30 miles and you may not get a table. So you do need to make a reservation. I called and they happened to have one like an hour and a half later. We knew we wouldn't make it. And then it was 4 hours later. And that was all they had for the whole day. But I asked about the menu and he said, we'll post it on Facebook here shortly. I think it's at 4:00 on the days that they're open. They post the menu for the dinner menu.
Just for that day.
It's always very similar, but there are some things that aren't on there some days and then they are on another day because they go with the fresh ingredients, what's local, what they have from gardens, markets, the vegetables from the sea, what fish they have, because everything is so fresh that it does change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that their chef goes out pretty much every day and hand selects everything, whether he's going to the meat market, the fish market, the farmer's market.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned the salad, and I mean, I'll say too that Jesse's was my first and number one, and yes, not just on that trip, but it'll be hard to find another meal comparable to that.
Yeah,
I think. And so you talked about the salad, and so it's funny because I'm looking at what it says here on the description on the menu, and I forgot that it had blue cheese crumbles, which I never in my life thought I would ever eat, but everything went together so well that the salad was...
That's it. I mean,
so
you got to
good.
trust the chef that they know what they're doing and, don't try to make any exceptions on things.
Oh, yeah, there's no skip this, skip that.
Yeah. Now, what I will
You just
do...
order it the way it's on the
I won't
menu.
order anything with mushrooms because I will never ask some chef to say, take out the mushrooms.
Right. You and I are in agreement there. So the salad we had was I'm going to read it here, heirloom cherry tomatoes, blue cheese crumbles, house-cured smoked bacon, sherry vinegar reduction, pickled red onion, and blue cheese dressing.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot it actually had blue cheese dressing too, and I loved it. Can't believe it. I'm shocked.
It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And those pickled red onions, you've already asked me to, right? So make pickled red onions, and then we'll do our toasted pecans.
Yeah.
Pecans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the pickled red onion, fantastic.
For an appetizer, we had baked fontina. And again, baked fontina, that's not something so unusual. You can get that at different Italian restaurants. But
It was new to me, however.
And it wasn't just like this glob of cheese. It's house-made. You get a house-made flatbread, and it kind of seemed like it was grilled almost. Tunisian tomato chutney and chili oil with the fontina.
Yeah.
Oh, we ate every last bit of it.
Yeah. It's almost like we were spoon fighting over the last rock.
I know.
And that was just our appetizer.
I know. I don't know what we looked like sitting there, but we must have looked like we hadn't.
I might as well have just taken the napkin and stuffed it in my shirt, like, hey, I'm 100% hillbilly here.
Oh, goodness.
It's just, give me my food.
And they had...
It was good.
I had a sparkling wine at the beginning, and it was fantastic. I don't know what it was. I wish I would remember what that wine was.
Well, and I had a bourbon, and it was an expensive bourbon, and that was also off of our waiter's recommendation because there were a lot of choices of different things, and it was the smoothest and tastiest bourbon I've ever drank. Yeah, just delicious.
What did you order for a meal?
Well, I had an aged Delmonico steak, and I don't know, it was 14 ounces or 16 ounces, something like that. It was
16.
It's a
think it was
16-ounce
16.
steak. Okay. And I think it just came with mashed potatoes. It was fantastic.
But the meat was...
Perfect. Yep. The cut was perfect because it's a specific cut of loin, the Delmonico steak, and then it was aged and seasoned, and it was very tender and very flavorful.
Did it come with any sort of a sauce or a butter or anything?
Oh, yes. One of the things that you get tons of options, what kind of things you want to complement your steak. But they asked for bone marrow butter, and I was like, yep, I'll take that.
That's what that was. See, we didn't take any pictures except at the very end we snapped a quick picture of the desserts because by then we were in this dining area by ourselves. It was not a place where you'd want to sit and be taking pictures of your food. And
Right.
besides the fact that you were enjoying the experience so much, you just don't even have your phone out. And so we don't have pictures of that meal except for the dessert at the end. So I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, and the bone marrow, I mean, that's just juice. Mm-hmm. So some extra juice on there.
Okay. And for me, it's really hard for me to step out of my comfort zone and not order just a burger or maybe a chicken breast. And there was a lot of seafood on this menu.
Yep.
But
you were daring, and you're like, okay, I'll be like Jason, and I'll try something new.
Mm-hmm. And it was, again, probably the best meal that I've had in my life, and it was seafood, and I can't believe that. But it was a Gulf grouper, and so it says, I'm just reading what it was on the menu. Spent grain crusted, so it had a crispy crust to it. And then it was schmaltz seared. And then...
what does that mean?
Well, is schmaltz like a beer?
Okay.
So I was thinking that it was seared, so it was crispy, with a fishbone bourdonnais.
Okay.
And smoked winter squash, which I figured, well, that's fine. It'll come with squash, but I won't eat it. It'll just be on my plate. And bulgur wheat. And then a kale mixed in with that. And then a maple pecan crumble, which was like kind of spread around the plate.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I didn't lick my plate because that would have been inappropriate. But I would have licked the plate. And I'm telling you, I ate that squash. I ate that kale. Again, every single thing on that plate just went together. You wouldn't want to miss out on any of the pieces of what was there to put together in a bite.
Right.
Unbelievable. You can tell I don't get like real chef made food very often. Now I'm like redneck Riviera for sure, but it blew my mind. It was so special.
Yeah. And so I would probably go back there just to make sure I could try it this time,
Yeah.
Because you had offered to share it, and I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to spoil my taste buds with what I'm already eating, because I don't like to mix other people's meals, like have a bite of this and then have a bite of that. Mm-hmm. I just kind of like to have my one thing and enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But I probably should have had a bite of your fish.
Yeah. And I think, so when I called and made the reservation, I looked at the menu from the night before, and they had a salmon, and that's what I would have ordered if they did have that on the menu that night when we went, but they didn't. Mm. And so I had to pick something different, but I certainly would like to try their salmon dish there as well. Now, they have online a lunch menu that looks really terrific, too. Like, I'd want to go there for lunch and then come back for supper. Mm-hmm. It doesn't look like the lunch menu changes, because it's just the dinner menu that gets posted every night. Dessert. We also had dessert, and we shared those, so we did each have bites of what we ordered.
Yeah, and that, I could tell the waiter, Ed, he's like, oh, this is my favorite, and that was the chocolate torte.
It was a flourless.
It was a flourless chocolate torte, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Had some nice gooey chocolate ganache type on it. Yeah. And the Neapolitan cheesecake.
Oh.
And we are lovers of cheesecake.
And it was really good. I mean, exceptionally good.
Yes, and I make cheesecake, and a lot of times I'm a harsh judge of cheesecake when we go out. But this, I don't make anything compared to how good that was. I'm assuming they make them in-house, and that the flavors change. I'm pretty sure I saw on the menu that there's cheesecake, but the flavor changes. You're not always
going to
get...
always be the Neapolitan,
No.
which that must be a lot of work to make that.
Yeah.
But it was an exceptional experience there. And while we were there, come to find out that they're building a new restaurant.
Yes.
That's also going to be called Jesse's, but it'll be
Jesse's by the Bay.
By the Bay.
I think, and I follow them now on Facebook, and I see they're trying, they're hiring their staff and getting ready. We'll probably want to try that on the Bay as well.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be open this year, this summer. So really, really enjoyed the place, and I would have no doubts that the new facility, their new restaurant, is going to be just as good as their original.
So what honorable mentions do we want to give? Because like I said, this was really hard for me to narrow it down. I mean, there were some places that were, they were really good, but I knew they wouldn't make my top 5. Janino's Pizza.
Yep.
Wonderful, wonderful pizza.
Yep. Huge. It was kind of I don't want to say it was a baboli crust, but it was pretty close to that. They were very generous with the pepperonis. They didn't skip anything. Good amount of cheese and sauce, and it's huge pizza. Loved it. Fantastic.
It looks like a old mom and pop shop that's been there for a really long time. So it's fun to support those local, which everything really is.
Yep.
I mean, I think other than the Subway that we had to do, I think did we get Shamrock Shakes one night or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
At McDonald's. Otherwise, no chains were involved in this trip. Yeah. It was all good homemade.
I would also mention I really like the Floribama Old River Grill because I, too, had a fish taco there that was exceptional. And it was like a fried mahi-mahi. Of course, we were down there, and I got to mention a Waffle House.
Yeah, because this was my first Waffle House that I ever went to in my whole entire life.
I don't know. Was that the first place we ate at Sunday morning or something? Maybe after church. We went up there and I got pretty much the entire menu for my breakfast, from the bacon to the grits to the hash browns. I had mine covered, smothered, and peppered. And to people who don't know what that means, covered is with cheese, peppered is with green peppers. And I had ham, chunked. I think they call that chunked. So they got a lot of different codes and stuff for, how you order your hash browns. And
only people who have been to the Waffle House and ordered their hash browns know the code. But once you know it, you know it.
Yeah. And it's fun.
So
it's a good atmosphere.
Yes. Now here's my bummer of that, though, because I like waffles. So you go to the Waffle House. But I love peanut butter and maple syrup on my waffles. I asked for peanut butter. They don't have peanut butter
free establishment
or something.
Apparently.
They didn't have peanut butter to give me, so I was disappointed, but that was fine. We did end up going to another Waffle House was that on Orange Beach or Gulf Shores? We went to a Waffle House the second time.
Oh yeah, and you brought your own peanut butter.
And I brought my own peanut butter.
BYOP'd.
Yes, I did. PB'd. BYOPB'd.
BYOPB'd.
Because when I travel, I mean, peanut butter is a good thing to have for a little snack or whatever, and I have some crackers. So I have these little travel-sized Jif peanut butter cups, and I just threw one in my bag and had one with me. And so then I was able to have a peanut butter maple syrup waffle at the Waffle House.
Nice.
Yeah. But the Sunliner Diner definitely had better breakfast than the Waffle House. So we actually went to 3 places twice because we did Big Mike's.
Yep.
A second time.
Yep.
And Sunliner Diner and the Waffle House.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But that's it for 9 days.
For repeats.
For 10, 9.5, 10 days, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I want to mention the Southern Grind Coffee House.
Okay. Because
that's the place that we stopped at when we were on our way out of town, heading to the airport. And then I'm like, hey, I remember reading about that place, but I guess I forgot about it. And we never went there. But then we stopped that day, got coffees, but we also had a ham and cheese and egg panini.
Yeah.
And it was really good. And I'm telling you, the menu was extensive.
Well, we got there
my gosh.
We're like, if we order now, we can still get breakfast. If we wait a few minutes, then we're going to have to move on to lunch. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy that we had the breakfast.
Right. And we were in a hurry because we needed to get to the airport.
Yep.
And because we had to turn around to go back to the condo to get your swim trunks that you left hanging out on the balcony, Our time got cut a little bit short.
Oh, yeah.
And it takes me forever to decide what to eat when there's a large menu. So I chose this because it was the special that was written on the board. So I'm like, we'll just have that.
Yep.
Then I took a menu to look while we were sitting there waiting. And there's a ton of stuff on that menu. And it's a girly place.
Oh, totally. And you got your girly bracelet.
I got my girly bracelet that matches my green Apple Watch band. And they just have all sorts of cute little boutique-y things and, jewelry and books and some home decor. They had cool sun beach hats.
And it's connected to a cool hotel.
Yeah, it's the Indigo. I think it's called the Indigo, and it's a boutique hotel that I think is
right
pretty
next
nice.
to the Gulf Shores National Park. And
yeah,
it's really cool.
And I just read that they have one at the Wharf. I think it's the Wharf where they have another one of those Southern Grind coffee shops, and it's bigger.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Fun. Mm-hmm. Very fun. And, stuffed and just really enjoyed everything we did down there.
Right, but I have a couple more honorable mentions.
You have a couple more honorable mentions?
How could you forget Picnic Beach?
Picnic Beach?
Do you remember that place?
No.
So we went to Picnic Beach after, I think, our Ash Wednesday service. And we had to walk up those tall steps to get up inside. And you walk in and it's all artificial turf on the floor. And there's picnic tables.
Oh, yeah.
We each had a fish sandwich and some fries. And the food was terrific. But the vibe there was just really neat, too. Like I said, there's artificial turf on the floors. There's picnic tables inside. Outside, there's some regular tables, but also picnic tables with benches or like big blocks of wood with a fun color of paint on it to sit on.
Yeah. I mean, it was had like a modern appeal to it, barn lighting and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Good photo op. If anybody's looking for a good photo op, on the outside upstairs there, they had this cool green turf board that said Picnic Beach and then 2 rope swings hanging on either side.
And they had just opened for the season.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Cool place.
Really, and the tartar sauce. I remember that tartar sauce being really delicious that I added to my sandwich. So I wanted to make sure I give a shout out there to Picnic Beach.
Nice.
And also, we went to Mobile, and I mentioned that we went to Spot of Tea. Mm-hmm. And that's a really cool restaurant, too. I did a little reading, found out about that place. That's why we went there. But we each had melt sandwiches with deli meat, so nothing fancy, but I loved it because they use boar's head meats.
Oh, sure.
Which back here is kind of hard to find, just right here where we live. We can get Deluso deli meats, but boar's head I usually try to get at like Kowalski's Markets or Lunds and Byerly's. Mm-hmm. And it was like what I would make at home with really good meats, and they weren't skimpy at all. So that was a delicious meal, too. We had ice cream a couple places, a place called Scoops.
Yep, in Sweet Cone, Alabama.
Sweet Cone, Alabama. We had that for breakfast, didn't we? Weren't we there like right in the morning or something? I don't remember what we were doing, but we had ice cream.
Yeah, but we got there.
And they had taffy.
Saltwater taffy, and I mean probably like 40 flavors, 50 flavors.
Mm-hmm. So we each got our own little bag of
a couple pounds to take back, which I ate on the plane and had most of it gone.
I still have one piece left upstairs.
Wow.
Yeah. I better eat it because it's going to get hard. I mean, it's not good when it's like, because when we got them, they were super soft and fresh. Mm-hmm. Do you have any other places you want to mention that we did eat at?
Nope.
Okay. There's a couple places that we didn't get to. The Sweet Spot Cafe and Bakery or something like that was on our list.
Yeah. Because I was on the search for sweet potato pie, and we never really found a place for pies.
Right. So if anybody's listening and they're from or know of in the Gulf Shores area.
If you live in Baldwin County.
Yeah, Baldwin County, Alabama. Where's the best sweet potato pie? Or a recipe for it.
Yeah.
That's tried and true. Your family loves it. Sweet potato pie. Email it to me and then I'll make it.
Nice.
That might even be better because then we can have it here. We're not traveling back again.
We will travel back. Just
I know, but
if it's really, really good.
Hope's Cheesecake. That's another place I had heard about before we went. The timing and things didn't work, but Hope's Cheesecake was another place. And then Brookman's Smokehouse. I am dying to try that. You can't go in there and eat. You have to order it ahead, like online ordering the day ahead or something. go in and pick it up and bring it with you. But they do all kinds of smoked meats. But then they also do smoked fish. So I love salmon, and they have, just your regular smoked salmon. They have like sesame teriyaki. I'm trying to think. They had different kinds of smoked salmon. Mm-hmm. And then they also have smoked tuna dip and smoked pimento cheese dip. So I really wanted to try their smoked pimento cheese dip.
Sure. And in addition to that, too, is we're not huge seafood eaters.
Not back home.
But down there, there was some huge oyster bars and restaurants and tons of other seafood places that looked really phenomenal and were packed.
Yes.
Especially, I don't know what the name of that one oyster place was up from Scoops.
Oh, it was always packed parking lot.
It was busy. Yep. More places to try. I'm
not trying oysters. You can.
Yeah.
That and your, crawfish that you want?
Oh, yeah. I wanted to try more crawfish. Crawdads.
I don't want any.
Crawdad boil.
Is that what they call mud bugs? What are mud bugs?
I don't know.
Something.
But maybe.
I don't know what.
It could be a nickname for them.
But there was a bar called Mud Bugs, and I thought that was really weird. And then I learned that mud bugs is actually what they call some sort of a seafood or something that they eat down there. Are you going to look that up now quick?
What I do know is that, crawfish are called mud bugs.
Okay.
In the southern United States, crawdad and mud bug are derived from the two words. So it's crawdad and mud bug.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been to crawdad boil down there, and of course it's exceptional. And you'd be grossed out by sucking the juice out of the heads, and yeah.
Right. Because remember we went to Hayden's, Kwani's boyfriend Hayden. Every year they have a
crawdad boil.
A crawdad boil at their house.
Yep.
And we went to that, and I was just there for the beer and conversation.
You were there for the corn on the cob.
People like it.
Yep.
It's special.
Yep.
But anyway, well, thanks everybody for listening to our ramblings about our delicious food in Gulf Shores, Alabama. And thank you to everybody when we were in Gulf Shores.
Absolutely.
To make our trip wonderful. Service and staff everywhere, the hospitality.
Gulf Shores, small town, big beach.
Oh, yeah. That's like their town slogan, right?
Yeah.
Small town, big beach.
Small town, big beach.
Mm-hmm.
That was really fun.
Southern hospitality, great place to go for a beach destination within the United States. I would winter there instead of Arizona.
Yeah.
So, and if you didn't already listen to episode 16, go back and listen to that one. We talk a little bit about some of the places that we went. And
all right.
Now you got to go move snow, and
yeah.
I got to take the decorations off the Christmas tree. So there's my confession.
Everybody have a blessed day.
We hope you found some inspiration from all these delicious meals and restaurants. If anything, maybe I wasn't the only one who didn't know what schmaltz is. And just a few notes. The oyster place Jason talked about near Scoop's Ice Cream is the original Oyster House Boardwalk on Gulf Shores Parkway. And the second Jesse's Restaurant location will be on Fort Morgan Road in Gulf Shores. The Paula Deen cookbook I picked up is called Favorite Recipes of the Lady and Her Friends. Now, I try to visit at least one bakery when I travel, and I cannot believe that I forgot to share the one we stopped at in a historic district neighborhood of Mobile. Pullman's Bake Shop is Alabama's oldest bakery, and I enjoyed a few cookies and bars, and this is where Jason got a couple sweet potato tartlets. You can find my recipe for key lime pie with a pretzel brown sugar crust on randomsweets.com. And also, let's not forget our stop at the Garden at Palafox in Maine, in Pensacola, Florida, where Airstreams and kiosks are in an open-air food hall. Jason still talks about that Eggo waffle hot chicken sandwich and the best banana pudding he had from Champ's Nashville Hot Chicken there. And I would always recommend the fried mahi-mahi tacos from Calavera Tacos, and that was in Pensacola, Florida. I look forward to sharing with you again soon. Tune in next week for a fun visit with Jason's mom and my mother-in-law, Marie Mergenthal. She's sharing her recipe for dill pickle pasta salad and a commonly requested dish in the family, Marie's beans. And I also got her to tell a funny story about the time I brought salted peanut chews to the Munson Survivor Weekend at the farm near Millbank, South Dakota. And looking ahead to an episode I'm working on for April. If you have a recipe for cheesy hash browns, company potatoes, party potatoes, hash brown casserole, or also known as funeral potatoes, and if you're willing to share it, email it to me at stacy@randomsweets.com, and I'll share it on that episode. That's staci@randomsweets.com. There are people who don't have a recipe, so that's why I'm asking, because I want to share mine and other versions to share with people who don't have a recipe for cheesy hash brown casserole. And a big thank you to Callie and Marie and Kathy, Christiane, Amy, and Amanda for sending your recipe over already. Well, I hope that you subscribe or follow Funeral Potatoes and Wool Mittens wherever you get your favorite shows so that you get an alert when a new episode is ready for you. And if you are enjoying these shows, please share the love and let your friends know about it too. Sweet wishes!